I wanted to watch that whole thing, like just in case, but I mean excruciating pain, and it does. But beats me why, but it really does. I'm very sensitized. I know that it has something to do with our unified field sometimes, like this thing. But I got what you were saying. See, this is something at least that's like my sort of. I really spooked when you said it, but this about it, but we've talked about that. But no, I mean something like this, right. I mean, okay, right. I mean, this is something. Here's the thing, like what comes to mind. You're not an expert on anything, especially not about things that happened in previous eras. This is a disclaimer, but I'm saying, right. I mean, if what you okay, this is what you did when it said that the shots that came out, like that when the people were there and Kennedy is assassinated, it said no one knew if they would shoot at Johnson next, and you banged. Okay, and then but when we were watching the other one, and I certainly do notice that you did that. But then later on, when it referred to a British rifle, you banged. All right, okay. But what would I say? Okay, that this is what I mean. What comes to mind when you bang? You see, okay, look, the okay. Okay, look. Certainly, the whatever. Remember, okay. Certainly, I mean, okay. But whether or not it doesn't even matter. It would definitely be the case that the right wing in Britain, okay, would see. Okay, one of the things that I'm saying would have. I mean, if this is what you're getting at or something, but I mean, we could try it again. You definitely banged, and I'm in pain, and this and that. So we take a shot. I mean, what? Right? I mean, look, the right wing. Let me put it this way: the serious, look, Britain has like they would have a serious right wing, whereas like there's always a sort of right wing here, but we don't have really a far right wing in the real sense. But hold on a second, like like pausing it, they certainly know that there's a right wing here too, and they know a bunch of things. Okay, right? I mean, certainly like the OSS and far far right wing elements in Britain, okay, would know that when they would know the chain of events going forward. That is to say, if Kennedy was assassinated, that Johnson would assume power, that forces in that sort of right wing forces in the U.S. would not pull out of Vietnam, would escalate the conflict, and the cost of the war would get so much that the only option would be to take away the economic portion of the Bretton Woods system, to end the regulation on currencies and capital controls. That would be the only option. Okay, and that is what shift that is why at this time the entire agenda, the actual agenda of the left, in some sense, that's actually over. You realize one thing, one of the things that people, my satire, like that Obama, gay rights and these things, they're so important, but there's like no left. There is no left in some sense, like of the country, what's happened. And particularly because Britain won, and our principal economic enemy has always been Britain, and British banks and this inter-alpha banking network were simply under their control with regard to, like I said, we wouldn't have a choice if we wanted to be isolationist on any of these military conflicts. We don't really know what's up with that, okay, but certainly are unable to do anything that would be on the agenda of a true left in this country, because we will be punished by British banks. And it was our principal economic enemy, in some sense, finally has conquered us. Okay, it's one reason, that it's the reason. I mean, it is the reason that there's that production shut down, that the money has no value, that wages keep going down, that new waves of technology and innovation, and even though the innovation's been done on paper, but no green technology never comes. They have to bridges in the country are going to fall down. There's no infrastructure. The agenda of a legitimate left that existed during the era of Kennedy is actually over. The only thing possible is to work on things like that are social in nature, gay rights, reproductive rights, end of racism, in terms of, things like that. That's the only thing that's as much left as there can be, is like sort of social things. The actual agenda of the left that would have existed like during Kennedy and certainly Martin Luther King, and one of the things Martin Luther King talked about, it was interesting. Chomsky pointed this out to me. He was talking about class struggle generally a lot, but it was. And when he shifted, he spoke of civil rights for black people, of course, but actually, like, one of the things that, when he was a leader in class struggle generally for the left, and an advocate for the poor and the working class. Okay, those assassinations, right? But put that aside for a minute. But right, I mean, there is no possible. The left agenda is in some sense like shut down, and it's because of this. If history's That's how it moves, and certainly the right wing in Britain and the OSS would have known that would be the chain of events, because there is a right wing here that's like afraid of communism and would once if Kennedy was going to pull out, that Johnson would have escalated the war and there's a right wing in quotes here that was afraid of communism and saw that Vietnam as they're gonna the domino theory and all that stuff. Okay, right. They know that that chain of events is something the right wing, the real right wing in Britain and British banks and the OSS would certainly have known. That makes sense. I don't know if that exists in any of this conspiracy. It's never been my thing. I'm not interested in those kind of things. But certainly one would hope they look into that. Our principal economic enemy did finally conquer us in that chain of events over in the decades that followed, leading to this. That may be what you're looking for. That's the kind of thing your friend could tell you about. But then again, I don't know. So that's that.